Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As always, it is Nick here, back to your daily crypto news and analysis. And today we are going to be talking about Hedera and Hbar. So with that being said, I hope that you are all having a beautiful day or a beautiful night wherever you guys are out there in the world. I recently made a video talking about Hbar, and the main thing that we were looking at was Hbar actually breaking over 10 cents. Now, since then, we've actually rejected. We're going to be addressing that slightly in this video, but we are also going to be talking about something that I think every Hbar holder should be looking at right now as we do march further on into the year and into this next cycle. But before all of that, let's talk about a few things. Let's talk about price action. Let's talk about where Hbar actually is right now. So if we scroll down the list, we could actually see that Hbar is sitting at number 34, slightly under 8 cents. Had a major sell-off due to it hitting major resistance. We will talk about that here in a second. Trading volume still down a little bit by 22%, hitting $84 million in 24-hour volume. And of course, you guys can see the run up to about 10 cents and then the major sell-off, which we will address and talk about here in a second. But one thing that I've also been looking at is categories within crypto. And I've been talking about it, right? I've been talking about the trends specifically. Now that we are in 2024 and we are getting closer and closer to the bull run, we are looking at major trends. Now, a few of them that I've been mentioning is AI, real world assets, gaming, SocialFi. But there's one other that we haven't really talked about too much, but it is now out there, and it's DePIN. So this is one that has been making the rounds. It's become a hot topic. It now boasts $20.6 billion in market cap. Trading volume is over $1 billion. We could see some of the big players that are tied into this. Some of these are actually some of the largest players that have been in my portfolio, and I even mentioned them in the Patreon. One to note, Filecoin. Another one is a cash. There's a few other ones within this as well, but for the most part, this is a sector or a category that I think everyone should be looking at as well. Now, around Hbar, we actually see that Hbar can technically be categorized within this category as well because of this. Big shout out to Zepsi for this. Great to see Fligs Mobile featured in the Masari Crypto State of DePIN 2023 report. Fligs is being created in collaboration with T-Mobile and the Hashgraph on Hedera when Neuron World feature. And this is actually a pretty big announcement. We do see crypto MVNOs use tokens to radically improve traditional wireless economies. MVNOs acquire and manage customer relationships while paying a traditional telco MNO for wholesale network access. Now, at the bottom, we have those three companies being mentioned, Helium, Really, and Fligs. Now, what's very exciting about this is I feel as though at some point in time, this is actually going to alleviate a lot of the problems around like SIM swaps. But I think that this is great because this is bridging telco companies with crypto. This is basically a gateway to mass adoption. I talk about this even with Telcoin. Telcoin's doing some great stuff within this sector as well. But I think that this is great, especially for Hedera. Love to see it. And again, it shows you that Hedera is tapped in on all major categories. They are tapped in on the AI space. They're tapped in on the gaming space, SocialFi. I mean, real world assets as well. They have it all. They really have it all. Now, on top of this, let's look at the price chart real quick. Let's talk about why we reject it and why Hbar was not ready to have the big moment. So go all the way back to January of 2021, for an example. The big level that I said was 10 cents. But as you guys do see, we had no close over 10 cents. We want to see a candle body close over 10 cents. That will confirm the breakout. We managed to have a higher high here, which is actually very bullish. But the big thing is we never closed over 10 cents. And we're kind of repeating what we've seen back here in January of 2021, where we had a wick over 10 cents all the way up to about roughly 12 and almost a half cents. before we reject it and came all the way back down to about roughly 7.5 cents. This is a level that I think everyone should be looking into HBAR to possibly be accumulating. And the reason why I say is because I believe that this is going to be our last support zone before we blast through 10 cents and actually get a close over it. This would also be us turning resistance into support, resistance from August, by the way, into support. I don't want to see us lose this level, because if we did lose this level, then that would be a significant signal that we are going much lower. And when I say much lower, I mean more so we are going to come back down and probably test around like 6 cents. So I would love to see us hold this level, maintain it as support, and then have another go at breaking over 10 cents. Very similar to what we seen back in January. And then once we did finally get a close over 10 cents, it took 3 weekly candles here. We had the big move through the 7.5 cent zone almost, had the wick, reject it, came back down, turned this level into support that I would love to have held or hold, sorry, for this next retest of this. And then we got the impulsive move back above 10 cents. We couldn't get the weekly candle close over it. Then the next week in February, we got it. We got the close over, and you could actually see why that was so significant, because once that did happen, it started HBAR's bull run. So that's what we are watching right now. That's why I do think that we should take this as an opportunity when we do get this level tapped, or even around this level. I think that accumulating HBAR under 10 cents is crucial. I look forward to the future around price action on HBAR. I do believe that we will get that significant candle close over 10 cents very soon. Probably not, tomorrow or, sometime next week, but I do think that it will happen very soon in, of course, the first quarter of 2024. But outside of this, I do also want to talk to you guys about real-world asset tokenization. So there's recently a Spaces over on X, and it was HBAR Foundation strategy for the Hedera ecosystem, where this had the HBAR Foundation, Shane Higdon. It also had Elaine Song and a few other individuals, including, of course, the HBAR Bull. And here we have the Hedera token service is purpose-built for real-world asset tokenization at scale. The institutions are here. Check this out. So this is about 6 minutes long. I'm going to speed it up by 1.5x. If it is too fast, you guys are more than welcome to slow down the video.
Shane, I'd like to stick with on-chain finance. Who are the key players for Hedera's real-world asset tokenization strategy, and how will they make an impact in the year to come?
So we have, keeping with the theme of institutions, one of the things that we didn't do in the first 18 months was really go to the large institutions, financial institutions, that is, the large banks, et cetera, given the gray area related to, digital assets broadly. Over the course of the last several months, as everyone knows, particularly around Bitcoin, there's been a little bit more loosening or investigation or willingness to engage by some of the largest asset managers, private equity organizations, banks in the world, a lot of which we're engaged with directly, some of which I, interestingly enough, am hearing have investigated or are integrating Hedera, but yet the HBAR Foundation wasn't involved in that. That was an organic relationship that emerged with, the network, along with a couple of banks that come to mind. That's really, really important, because as we think about the HBAR Foundation, one of the things that we wanted to do was build awareness, right? That was what we were created for. And starting to see that awareness happen organically in an area that is really trying to be on the forefront of innovation is really important. I think there are some partnerships that we are working on that I think are very interesting. One is Oasis Pro. I think that they are a great organization led by a founder, longtime person in Wall Street and finance that I think is doing a lot of interesting things around tokenization, around so many areas of this complex environment of how you get tokens on chain, track them, and settlement, and do all of the things that you need to do in this decentralized environment. I think that they're going to be important to us, in the future. I think a lot of the organizations we're talking to, and I don't want to name them, but I bet you if you sat and went, who are the top 5 organizations that, I would say are in finance, we're having some level of discussion with them in the hopes that, as they continue to explore tokenization, some of them already have tokens of their own that they're wanting to try to figure out how we collaborate. So to me, it's still early days, because these conversations, while are certainly moving forward, you can tell that it's the innovation side of the bank that continues to investigate this. And for those that haven't necessarily dealt with Wall Street before, a lot of the banks, in fact, most of them have not only an innovation agenda, but a budget. So they've got an entire team in IT that most banks own just about every software solution that you can think of in almost every vertical. They will spend money because they want to kick the tires. They want to look at it. They want to touch it and understand what value it might be able to bring to the business. And so it's those teams that we're, engaged with. And I think it'll be interesting as they begin to bring the business in, begin to understand real world asset tokenization, what is important? The area that we have seen to be the most important to them is settlement, largely because when you're talking about hundreds of billions of dollars, in some cases trillions of dollars, 2 basis points is a lot. It's a lot of money to give up in a settlement transaction. And so they're trying to figure out how to optimize that part of their value chain. And can Hedera be a part of that? We certainly have organizations like Red Swan and others that are tokenizing real world assets like real estate, and Aberdeen's doing it with their money market funds and their real estate fund, et cetera. We're going to continue to see that. So this is an area in 2024 we're going to lean in, and we're going to create partnerships like Oasis Pro and others that are going to help us lead from the front.
Shane, we have good representation both from banks and asset managers, and of course there's some overlap there. But we have banks like Nomura and Standard Bank, Shinhan Bank, and then we have asset managers like Aberdeen that you mentioned and Kafra. But there's a lot bigger fish out there as well. We have Fidelity and Vanguard and BlackRock. Where are you seeing more attention? I know this answer is probably going to be both, but where are you seeing more attention, from the asset managers or from the banking and banking services?
For us, it's been equal. The names that you listed, some are on the council. There's not a single U.S. entity on the council that's financially oriented, right? So there's no Nomura, in Japan, Shinhan Bank in Korea, Standard Bank in South Africa, et cetera, et cetera. Aberdeen's out of the UK. And so where we are starting to see a lot more conversations is in the U.S. market, and that's exciting. But because of the lack of regulatory clarity, certainly have a lot of people in these conversations, they're moving slower in terms of action, because they want to understand how are they going to be able to use this being, the Hedera network in a way that doesn't triple wire, which is why I think they're focused a lot on settlement. That's really a back office function. So if they could use the capabilities of Hedera to save money, right? So oftentimes these big organizations, whether it's institutions or enterprises, you either have to help them generate more revenue or you have to help them cut costs. Right. And so can we help them automate, optimize, do the things necessary in the back office so that now all of a sudden what was billions of dollars in spend or cost for them is now a fraction of what it used to be. And so we're seeing a lot of the U.S. institutions, having these conversations, and I hope it continues throughout 2024.
And this is the number one thing everyone needs to be focused on, because listen, the institutions are ready for tokenization. I mean, hell, if you go over to categories over on DeFi Llama, guys, this chart is going parabolic, and it has been going parabolic since 2022. And you know what's insane about this? The craziest part about this is that this is during the entire bear market. Like this practically had no money in until roughly almost the end of 2021, which is when the market topped out. We were already in a bear market during this time. The market topped, it was already selling off. We had $180.5 million in real world assets, December 31st, 2021. Fast forward to December of 2022, and we already had almost $1 billion. It was 760, almost $4 million. Then fast forward another year into December of 2023, and guess what we had? Check this out. Here is December 31st, over $5.5 billion. Real world asset tokenization is hot right now. This is going parabolic. And what's insane about this statistic is I don't even think that this includes Hedera. I don't even think this includes most major chains, because if we look at real world asset tokenization and the TVL rankings, and we go to TVL at what's boasting most of it, we have Maker, we have stuff like that. I mean, Lofty is with Algorand, we have Maple here, but for the most part, like, this doesn't include major players that are already tapped in with Hedera. Like, for an example, they don't even have Aberdeen on here. They don't have the big players yet. So think about how much money is actually a part of real world asset tokenization right now. And just think about where we are headed, because what's crazy about all of this is, like, let's toggle all of this. So we talk about gaming quite a bit being a major trend. And the reason why we talk about gaming being a major trend is because if we go back to 2021, for an example, and we go to categories here, we clear all of this. Let's look up gaming real quick. So gaming was a huge topic during the end of 2021 and even in 2021. But think about how crazy this is. This only hit a little over $2.5 billion. Okay? Real world asset tokenization, or I should say just RWAs in general, is already over this by 2 times the amount during a bear market, mind you. This is insane. when we look at how big of an opportunity real world assets are, look at the comparison here. This is why I believe Hedera is going to take main stage during this cycle. This is also why I say, like, when we look at Hedera right now, yeah, I'm actually happy that we rejected 10 cents. I'm actually happy that we didn't get a close over it, because this gives us another incredible opportunity to accumulate more HBAR. And when we look at this thing on a zoomed out scale, yeah, I believe that HBAR is ready to wake up in a big way. And the best part about this is that going into this next cycle, Hedera built throughout the entire bear market. The team was extremely loud, extremely active, and now they have everything they need in their arsenal to take over and truly become a massive player. When we talk about the top 5, the top 10 in this space, it's going to be filled with players like Hedera. Sure, there's going to be a lot of things like even Dogecoin that probably reach into the top 15, top 20 because of hype and speculation. But I do believe that we are about to see, and we are about to witness, the major key builders and utility players in the space become large giants, especially once institutional money starts flowing into this space, which I do think is already happening through a lot of initiatives like tokenization. So with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on because more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord in the description below. And with that being said, guys, it's been Nick. Peace out.